Viewers, we are joined in the studio by retired Colonel Dr. Khaleel Mullayousef, former advisor for the National Security Bureau, with a long-standing engagement in regional political affairs. Welcome back to our show, Dr. Khaleel.
Good afternoon.
Well, I want to dive right in, and I want to ask, how serious is this attack from a national security perspective, particularly as it directly affected Kuwait International Airport?
As we call it, for our national security, this is an aggression, and a truthful aggression also. Our sovereignty is a red line. Any attack crossing our borders, our air or our sea, is an aggression. So what's caused that attack? There is a lot of questions. People said, why? Last night, Iran been attacked in Qasham Island, down south, far in the Strait of Hormuz, 1,500 kilometers away from Kuwait. But the IRGC decide that the attack took place from Kuwait to Qasham Island, under which mind they are thinking. Part of it, they need it as a message for the internal situation for their people, because the internet is back. They want to show their people we can retaliate. But in reality, they are afraid of targeting. Who's targeting them? Because the ships, the Navy, the airframes is under their eyes, there in the Strait of Hormuz. And they know exactly in their intelligence from where they've been attacked. But that question is still serious one. Why the state of Kuwait? There is messages. Iran tried to send messages. I can do whatever it takes to control this region. We will dominate this region. And this is a hatred, I can call it. It's been day by day, it's clear now, from Iran to the state of Kuwait.
Now, the Kuwaiti armed forces thankfully announced that they had intercepted and destroyed these several hostile drones and missiles. What does this tell us about the readiness and effectiveness of Kuwait's air defense systems, even during the time of relevant calm that we were able to enjoy recently?
Since the start of this aggression in February, our armed forces in a readiness, in a very high readiness, and they will stay like this. They've been trained to do this, and they will never get tired because they are defending their nation, their country, their people, their families. But this is not a surprise. They are ready. Their eyes is open 24/7. The problem is, from time to time, they try to test our readiness. They try to see, are we wake up or we get back to normal? In our civilian life, alhamdulillah, we get back to normal. The armed forces, their mission is to keep the people secure under all the circumstances. In peacetime, yes, the armed forces is released. But in a situation like this, the armed forces is ready. And their readiness, I hope the Iranians will never put a bet on our readiness. Our readiness will stay there 24/7, 365 days a year.
Our armed forces are always, indeed, the state of Kuwait and our dear viewers, we're all proud of our armed forces who are working valiantly to keep us safe, even during these times. People are going about their life, enjoying their day-to-day activities as the summer vacation and summer holiday is near, and children are going around. Despite some panic that children might go through, it was the responsibility, I will tell our dear viewers once again, it is the responsibility of the parents and caretakers to ensure that these children understand that our valiant soldiers, our valiant armed forces are keeping us safe, and that these loud sounds are a result of the interceptions, the successful interceptions of these heinous attacks. Now, I want to ask, despite the interceptions, sadly, some projectiles appear to have reached airport facilities. How do security experts assess such incidents in modern missile and drone warfare?
In such situation, especially we are dealing with the unconventional, we call it now, attacks. The missiles is known, very known. The drones has special techniques. Sometimes they flew low level, sometimes they approach from different approaches, not directly from Iran, through another or third nation, exactly through Iraq. But because it's not overwhelming, some people understand it as an overwhelming. This does not exist, not in our situation, not in Kuwait. Because of the nature of that drones. Sometimes it's flew very low level. You deal with them and there is no chance to keep any airspace in the globe 100% secure. So what's happened last night or even early morning today, we call it the minimal incidents happens because we've been attacked by, as been announced today, 13 missile, 17 drone. That could cause a lot of damage. But alhamdulillah, because of the readiness, because of the champs in the armed forces, do their job perfectly, I can call it, perfectly. The 1%, it happens everywhere in the world. It happens. It's not because they miss it. It's because of the nature of that threat. It happens. And especially we are dealing with our airport, which is within the suburbs, the civilian suburbs. And sometimes you take measures. If you fire that drone, the cost will be high. So sometimes you delay your targeting to not hit hospitals or houses.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now, Kuwait has traditionally pursued a balanced foreign policy. Could recent developments challenge Kuwait's position as a regional mediator?
I can say no. If we read the what's
because
been
we have enjoyed our
yes.
Ironclad
yes.
peaceful foreign
yes.
policy for years and years and years.
What we read from the announcement from our foreign ministry today was very wise and very controlled statement. We have the right to defend ourselves, and we've been targeted. The Iranians missed something. The way that Kuwait treated all the aggression is going back hard to the Iranians because we choose to do our strategic patient very wisely, and the international community is observing what's happening, and they know what's happening. They have their correspondents, they have their citizens within our soil and our land. So they have their reports, the exact report, the right report. And everything is going backfire to Iran now. Diplomatically, they are under pressure when they are doing such crime, I can call it.
Now, how concerned should Kuwait be about becoming caught in a wider regional confrontation between the two parties in this current conflict?
I think our leadership and our government, we can call it, we taken our control measures so far. We had the GCC treaty. If our leadership and our government decide or found we start to become a target, we can initiate our call under the GCC chapter, and then we will not be alone. This will be a GCC defend plan, and then the Iranians will be really facing a big trouble.
Now, what additional measures, I want to go back to the incident that happened at the airport. What additional measures can Kuwait take to protect critical infrastructure such as airports, oil facilities, power stations even, and ports?
As we know, as I know at least from reading and from formation there and there, even under the war itself, under the attacks itself, the people who's responsible to develop and try to read every incident separately is doing their job perfectly. They try to work daily to develop our measures and try to close. If there is any tiny gap, there is no gaps, but we try to develop our tools day by day. And we hear now about new weapons, new systems being involved. So the government is doing that very well.
So are you able to say that since the beginning of the crisis, the government's contingency plans have been well made and well applied?
Even for the crisis management.
Even for the crisis management.
So far we are doing very well.
Thankfully, alhamdulillah. Now, since we're talking about emergency plans, the airport's emergency plan was actually activated immediately. From a crisis management standpoint, how important is coordination between military, security, and civilian authorities during such incidents?
This success comes from the announcement of the National Center for Crisis Management, which has been announced early this year at February. So this is a new body to coordinate all the government and all the involved authorities within the state of Kuwait to manage any crisis takes place. Is it war? Is it electricity? What's the nature of that crisis? That center will be involved and put everyone in that table and take the measures to control that crisis. And I think what's happened today exactly is a result of that. We call it a born center, where they call it Aman now. The team is called Aman. And they are working very deeply together. It's the armed forces, Ministry of Health, and who's involved within the nature of that crisis. So I think it's come very quick. And even the good thing, you just announced it, that the flights come back from Terminal 4. That's a result of really well-arranged plans. We assess our target or what being hit, and we read it all. We make our major assessment. The problem is we try to work for the safety of the people and the travelers. When the measures has all been taken and it's safe, T4 has been opened now. And I think even T1, it will take days to fix what's happened, and it will go back again. No one can stop us from live our life.
Inshallah. Yes. Now, the Ministry of Interior and the Armed Forces have continuously warned citizens and residents not to approach missile debris. And since the beginning of the crisis, with each missile and drone attack up until this point, what risks do unexploded remnants pose to public safety? Can you elaborate on that to further emphasize on the Ministry of Interior and the Armed Forces statements regarding not approaching these remnants?
The problem is the civilians...
Because the human mind is curious.
The civilians, they don't train to deal with anything very dangerous like this. They think it's a firework, they think it's a fire, but in its nature, it's a rocket. It's a drone. It has explosives. It has electricity. Sometimes it touches the ground with all those things together in place. It needs sometimes a spark to explode. So if you move it from that place, just touch it, it will initiate because of what we call it a civilian mind. Please.
A curious mind.
Those things been announced. Our authorities doing their job very easy, very quick, very high-lauded, and all our media, even in the social media, it's there since the beginning of the aggression. So please, a civilian, call 112. It's an easy number. Tell them we saw something there or there. And they will deal with it. They will deal with it. They will take it over. They train to do so. The danger is you put yourself under an unknown incident as a civilian. We don't need to harm our people. So please, that's part of it. The other part, maybe we don't touch it as a question, but it's come with it. The problem is nowadays, the open source intelligence became a very dangerous weapon for the enemy. So please don't be a tool. Don't be a source. Don't take pictures and, okay, you are a civilian, you want to share it with your friends, with your family. Please, not in this time. There is armies around the globe. Their job is just to find what's being published in the open source. We call it open source intelligence. They can assess the targets they targeted, and sometimes they said, oh, we don't touch it, so let's hit it again from this angle. So please don't be a source. Don't be a hand for the enemy, or any citizen, or anyone in the street. Please, please, this is not your business. Stay safe, live your life, don't get afraid. We used to it now. It's more than 90 days. We used to it. Even the child now, they think it's fireworks. It's okay. Don't be a source for the enemy.
It's a good time, actually, Dr.
Yes.
Khaleel, to reiterate this, that as the Ministry of Interior actually had a culprit that actually
Yes.
shared this kind of vital, sensitive information, dear viewers, I appeal to you once again, do not share any source, any material that relates to these kind of incidents, because in sharing so, you are actually undermining the efforts of our armed forces and our government in its emergency and contingency plans. You don't need to have the latest scoop regarding this kind of information. You will be getting your information from the correct, valid sources with just the right amount of information that we would need to reaffirm our safety and our sanctity and our sovereignty. Any extra information would be, just like Dr. Khaleel said, would be putting further intelligence into the hands of the other parties. Now, Dr. Khaleel, in your assessment, are Gulf countries entering a new phase where drone and missile threats have become a permanent security challenge?
Since the beginning of this crisis, since February, we've been trained for a conventional, we call it, wars. Army against army, navy against navy. This is the nature of the armed forces around the globe. In this crisis, yes, we've been trained to do or facing unconventional warfare, like what's happened. But this is not the nature of the wars. The GCC, alhamdulillah, at least for the last 10 or 15 years, part of their training and their efforts to counter the unconventional warfare, which comes the results now. If we don't train for it at the beginning, since the last 10 years or so, we could face a very dangerous situation. But alhamdulillah, because we trained so, not for the conventional wars only, for the unconventional wars. And what's happened now, it's really come under the title of unconventional wars. It's drones, cheap, but it's caused a lot of damage for the infrastructure. The missiles always send the messages. That means we can reach. It cannot do anything. We can reach that place. But the drones is a very dangerous tool. If we saw it in different actions, even in Lebanon, we saw it. In Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia. The unconventional tool now became a normal for the Iranians. So I think the GCC armed forces together develop their methods very quickly for the upcoming days and years, inshallah.
Building up on that, how important is intelligence sharing and military coordination among GCC countries in responding to these threats?
Since the establishment of the GCC, and with the nature of our job before I retire, the armed forces within the GCC have a long, far years of working together in all aspects. Training, sharing data, sharing equipment, intelligence, name it. It's there. In this circumstances now, we need to be more related together. We need to open the coordinations higher than what we have. I can say we cannot go more what we have now. We cannot go more than that. I think we are totally 100% sharing everything together, which is good for us. Because one day, if it's going worse, we will fight together. We can defend our nations together. So this is part of our strategy within the GCC armed forces.
Now, do you expect further attacks or retaliatory actions in the coming days, in your experience? And what indicators should security agencies be watching closely?
The problem is we are in a phase of ceasefire. And we call it a controlled crisis because penetrations, it happens there and there. Both parties of the crisis, Iran and the United States, is negotiating each other under pressure. The Americans sometimes hit targets, hit ships, and the Iranians try to do the same. We can't do this. But I think in the end of this phase, within days from now, if they sign the framework, which has been announced last night, they're almost there. If they sign that framework of the agreement, it will take another 60 days or so. But within that frame time, nothing will be allowed to happen. So I think till the signature of the framework, we will see aggressions there or there, in this scale or lower even, because they try to send messages, we are capable, because they are losing their papers everywhere.
Are these messages related to the fact that each party is has actually a conflicting statement regarding these frameworks and these talks?
Yes, yes. The United States had a lot of stocks and leverages to work. The Iranians have nothing to do. They try to use this region.
The Iranians are saying that they're not engaging in any direct talks with the U.S.
It's not a direct talks now. They try the direct talks and it's failed in Pakistan. But what's sure now, they're talking through a third party. And they all agreed that this is the channel and we should do it like this. And Iranians announced that within days we will send back our reply to the Americans, and the Americans said we send it in a few days. So there is a chance of signing that framework, and all the indications said so. But we should not deny that nothing will happen from now till the signature. We are ready. We are putting plans in place. Our governments, when I said governments, that means all the GCC is aware of what's happening, and we are observing what's happening, and we will protect our nations till the peace treaty comes between the two nations.
Like I stated, and you had reiterated, recent statements from U.S. President Donald Trump suggest that negotiations between both parties may be approaching a significant breakthrough, like you said, particularly regarding a ceasefire extension and the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. How likely is a framework agreement between Washington and Tehran in the coming weeks, and what factors will determine its success?
The factors is the priorities for both parties. The United States priority is the nuclear file, and then everything come later. For the Iranians, it's the sanctions and it's the siege. So they will reach a middle ground, inshallah, because to sit in the table and have a direct agreement with different overviews, it's impossible. It's a failure. So I think the idea of framework is a diplomatic solution. We should put all the points together in that framework without priority. And then the teams will sit separately in different files within 60 days, 90 days, whatever will be announced at that time. At the end, they will finalize everything and put everything in priority and what's needed to be extended, and then the signature will come later. The framework, I think, is very acceptable tool for the two parties, and that's why we hear those announcements now from both parties. As, yes, we are working on this. Yes, we are working on this. And Qatar has been moving now. Turkey been moving now. Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is involving very heavy now in that framework. And I think within days it will be signed, inshallah.
Inshallah. Now, dear viewers, we will be taking a quick break, and we will continue our very fruitful discussion with our dear guest here, Colonel Dr. Khaleel. Stay tuned. Dear viewers, welcome back to our continuous live coverage, and with us in the studio is Colonel Dr. Khaleel Mullayousef, former advisor at the National Security Bureau. Now, I want to continue asking, related to the report that we just have seen, how have recent regional conflicts affected the pace and direction of U.S.-Iran negotiations?
Everything happened in the region overall, in the Middle East, it's been now became heavily involved in negotiation between Iran and the United States. Iran insists of finishing Lebanon file with the agreement with the United States. Iran insists of try to push Gaza's file within that. So Iran tried to use all their tools, if they have tools anymore, to make it not just between United States and Iran. No, I'm a regional dominant power. I can sit at the table in high raised head, and I can solve problems. So our message from the state of Kuwait: solve your messages first, solve your problems first, and then solve the problems in the region. Because Iran being part of the chaos in this region, in Yemen, Syria, and Iraq, even in Gaza, even in Lebanon.
Iranian officials have actually emphasized that violations of ceasefires in one arena may impact stability across the region.
And that's the announcement every day from the Iranians. They try to be a hegemon, a regional power, and they talk with the name of the others. Finish your crisis first. No one allow you to be a regional power alone and use your diplomacy to solve everything. This region will solve the problems together. The Middle East, especially the GCC, being involved in solving the Middle East problems since decades. We don't need the help of the aggressors. We will solve, inshallah, all the problems. Solve your problem with the United States. Let this region stable. Let your people, which is more than 90 million citizens, live in harmony at least, in peace and prosperity. Today morning I read a report talking about inflation rate raised more than 120% since the crisis starts. In 90 days. This number, if any economist sit and tell us what's the story behind it, it's very dangerous. This nation is collapsing. But the problem is, who's taking himself in a place to take decisions every day, he don't think about his citizens. He think about his place, his picture. I can do whatever I need. So.
Now, as the recent attacks of Tehran on its neighboring countries, and for the past 90 days, its political standing has been shifted actually in the region specifically and then internationally. Yes. So how have recent ceasefire negotiations altered the political dynamics between Washington and Tehran?
It will shift it.
It will shift it further.
It will shift it further because the Iranians day by day try to add more demands. any crisis, if you want to solve it, keep it in track. Don't add another file to it and try to mix up the whole situation together. We can read who's serious in solving this and who's looking for trouble. So I think this will affect. But there is an administrative in the White House, in the Oval Office. They think United States first. So we need to finish this crisis quickly and turn our page to solve our different problems in the other regions in Europe and Asia. And so the Iranians' case and the American agenda, tiny small. They will finish it.
Now, Iran's nuclear program remains one of the most contentious issues in its relationship with Iran and in the negotiations that they're going through. What are the current disagreements regarding Iran's uranium enrichment program?
The disagreements, the first stage is moving the enriched uranium to the United States. And this has a big vote from the Iranians. This is no go. This is not good for us. The second thing, they try to keep the program active. And this is a no-go situation for the Americans also. This program has to go back to its beginning as a civilian program. Every nation has the right to develop itself in the research and development methods. Use the nuke for the medical purpose, for the research purposes, but not for the nuke weapons. The Iranians decide and put their mind in place to reach that limit, which is the nuclear weapon. And this administration now in the White House is reading this file seriously this time. Because in the last treaty in 2015, it took 9 years till it's been signed, and another 10 years till now. So it's 19 years, give the Iranians a time frame to develop their program. Their program reached a very high level. So I think for the Americans, this at least should be the stone in the corner of any negotiation. For the Iranians, again, they need money and they need the release of the siege in their ports.
So how do U.S. demands concerning Iran's nuclear activities differ from Iran's own proposals regarding the same issue?
That's why I think come the idea of the framework or memory of understanding. Let's sign this framework first and then sit together and try to negotiate phase by phase, phase by phase. If we negotiate the nuclear now, we will reach a closed door. So let's put the framework and let the specialists sit together and give the 60 days or 90 days gap to the teamworks, and then we will see what's been solved or not, which is diplomatically accepted. But if you said no from the first day, that's why I think United States agree for that paper. We will discuss everything separately. It will give us the time to breathe and open the strait, give the commerce, the globe commerce, the chance to move again. And then everything will be solved, inshallah.
Now, economic sanctions, as well as the uranium enrichment or the nuclear file, remain a central component of the negotiations and future agreements. What sanctions relief is Iran seeking as part of future agreements?
Iran, since 25 years, been sanctioned every year in their companies, in their assets. In the United States itself, it's more than 100 billion US dollar in assets and in cash. And in some places, almost the same number. And the problem with the sanctions, it's sanctions names. And they cannot move freely and be in position to control the country, like General Ahmed Wahidi. He's sanctioned in all the terrorist papers. They need those names to be removed. from the sanctions. And we need our companies to be removed from the sanctions, our airplanes to be removed from the sanctions. And all this will give them the chance to breathe, economically at least, to get the chance to move again. Hopefully this time peacefully. Peacefully.
Hopefully peace does reign freely
Inshallah.
across the region.
Inshallah.
Finally, what message would you send to the Kuwaiti public regarding preparedness, resilience, and confidence in the country's security institutions and the government's emergency and contingency plans?
Our high message, or a very red underlined message: please let the government do their job. Let the authorities do their job. Don't interfere in anything will harm you. Live, enjoy your life. We are in a very peaceful place, and let the champs do their job. This is my last message.
Let the champs do their job.
Yes.
Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Khaleel Mullayousef, former advisor for the National Security Bureau, I thank you once again for your valuable input.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, dear viewers, we will be taking a quick break before we are back with our reporter, our field reporter at Jabir Al-Ahmed Hospital, Abdurrahman Al-Muhanna. Stay tuned.